Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the program Sport Pizza. Of course, it's the biggest, boldest, and where you get the absolute best in the ever exciting world of sports. My name is Brownson Wana, your host, and lots of things happening in sports. The football transfer window is absolutely buzzing. Chelsea, of course, smiling with lots of players. And of course, it was a very emotional moment for Lionel Messi when he bid farewell to his former club, FC Barcelona. And the Olympics has come to, its climax, or has finally come to an end. Where did Nigeria finish in medal table? And of course, who won the overall gold? We'll be giving you all the analysis, record-breaking moments in the Olympics right here on the show. But first, let's take a very quick break. When we come back, all the things you need to know in sport right here on this frequency. Don't go away. Welcome back. Now, my strike partner make his return to the show. Olakunle Philip is back. Kunle, good to have you back on the program.
Yeah, thank you very much, Brownson Wana. It's great to be here once again to talk sports. You know, I was conspicuously missing last week, but I'm really very delighted to be back on the show. Well, in the introduction, you talked about the Olympics climaxing. About 339 medals were won by countries, and of course, 33 different sports. Well, aside for Nigeria, we got a silver and a bronze. Our bread is better than perform, like we always talk about. Well, I'm really very delighted to be here. The transfer window is absolutely buzzing. Just like you said, it's just sad that right now Arsenal's not, initially they were in the transfer market with the likes of Ben White and all of them, but right now we are really quiet. And then we have teams like Chelsea, Manchester United really doing business. Paris Saint-Germain not really being left out. But I'm really very delighted to be here.
Very well said, Kule. Now let's stick with the Olympics. Yeah, it was a very good moment. The closing ceremony was as beautiful as it looked, on TV. But let's look at the medals table. United States of America, time after time, have showed that when it comes to sports, they are the king of sports. We've seen them top the Olympic medals table year after year. They ended the Olympics with 39 gold, 41 silver, and of course 33 bronze, total of 113 medals. Now, second position we have China. I think I was particularly surprised by China's feat in this Olympics. 38 gold in second position, 32 silver, and of course 18 bronze, 88 medals in all. Third position, host nation. You must give them kudos for the feat they did. I think it's one of their best Olympic performance. 27 gold, 14 silver, 17 bronze, 58 medals in all. Great Britain, of course, 22 gold, 21 silver, 22 bronze, 65 in all. But let's move straight to 74th on the table, which has Team Nigeria. Guess what, guys? We didn't go there to look. We came back with medals. 1 silver, 1 bronze, total of 2 medals in the Olympics. 200 million people in Nigeria. Kunle, is this a good performance for Team Nigeria in the Olympics?
Well, a very disappointing one. I think I'm highly disappointed with the contingents to the Olympics. But then, I think it's not about the participants. I think it has to do with the organization of Nigerian sport. How prepared are we? From the beginning, we talk about the fact that the team were not prepared enough. Our officials goofed. They made a lot of errors in the Olympics. Even prior to the Olympics, the preparation was not top-notch, except probably for the wrestling, department where, sports where, the president, talking about Daniel Ugali, Ugali did a yeoman's job. But I think other sports suffered, and it was evident in the kind of results we turned out. I wasn't surprised because at the point in time, I felt that, if eventually we don't win anything, I think I will not be bothered because with the kind of preparation we had in place. But the positives that we can take out from this is the fact that some of the athletes that participated in the Olympics are relatively young. Some of them were making their debut appearance at the Olympics, and then, this could actually go a long way to help them. And like the officials told some of them, just go out there, put in your best, give out your best, and in the nearest future, in the next Olympics, probably you'll be gunning out for a medal. Remember what transpired with the errors that were made, the lack of by the anti-doping agency, the fact that about 10 of our athletes were disqualified from participating in their various sports because there was an error from the international, the Nigerian Olympic Committee.
Yeah.
There was supposed to be a pretest prior to the Olympics, but didn't see the light of the day. So it's really very disappointing. But of course, we can take a lot of solace from the fact that some of the athletes that participated are relatively young, and if given most of the time, Brownson, the problem I have is the fact that most of the time when we are ousted or when we put up these deplorable performances like this, we say we're coming back to the drawing board. What do we do at the drawing board?
We just stand and
look.
Question.
Stand and everything we just be quiet till the next Olympics. Then a year or 6 months to the Olympics, they begin to run around. It's really very disappointing. I think one of the things that actually weakened me, I really felt bad. And for the athlete, talking about Ojoya Adekunroye, one of our greatest prospects, I talked about him, in our previous show, that this was one of our major, prospects as far as getting a medal at the Olympics. But in a category, she was leading by 8-2 in the wrestling in her category.
I was shocked, Kule. I mean, 8-2, then some little technicality cost her that.
It's just like when you are engaged in boxing bout, and a particular boxer seems to be having the upper hand, throwing the jabs, throwing the punches, and getting the point. All of a sudden, the team on the boxer on the losing side, then throws the punches and hits you, and you are on the ground. You will adjourn the winner if the other boxer is not able to stand up on time.
When I came in and saw 8-0, in my head, I thought it was done and dusted because people win this kind of bout with 2-0, 1-0, and all of that.
That's the beauty of sport for you.
Now, what's the way forward for Nigerian sports? Now, let's look at the fact that USA camped their team for 3 years. Japan camped the Olympic team for 3 years.
Even China
camped their team. I think China camped their team for 4 years.
Yeah.
Now they started immediately after the Olympics. They called younger athletes, called some experience. They camped them. Governments were paying them salary for this period.
Since 1996, the only country that has given the Americans a good run for their money has always been China. In 2008 Olympics, China toppled the United States of America on the medals table at the end of the tournament. You could see it was a strong battle, and I think that some of the games that panned out actually ensured that the Americans won, the toppled at the end of the day. In the basketball event, remember that in the female basketball final, the Americans defeated I think it was the Japanese or was it? I can't really remember right now.
That's the women final.
Women final.
Yeah, it was against Japan.
Japan. So I think this was one of the things that actually won it for the Americans. The Chinese are always preparing immediately after a major tournament.
Yes.
They go about to make their preparation.
What's the way forward for Nigerian sports? Because now, if we have cited the fact that these guys camped their player for 3-4 years. And at this point, we don't know the fate of these players. Don't forget that these guys were called to the camp 4 months to the Olympics. You cannot prepare for a major tournament, a world tournament like this. What's the way forward for Nigerian sports?
Francine, our leaders, those that are saddled with the responsibility of handling different sports in the country, knows the way forward. But the truth of the matter is that we don't adhere to it. They just, and when you go to some of the associations, the president, they give you all sort of excuses. Some of them will indirectly tell you that, the fault is actually coming from the sport ministry and all of that. For me, this has been a total failure. I think that we should start preparation now. Some of the athletes who churned out performances, at different sports in this Olympics should begin the sports, the associations should begin to monitor them. They should begin at one particular point in time or the other. Let them become, prepare them ahead, training. If it employs that they travel to different countries to actually get the players prepared. I think this is what the Americans spend a lot on their athletes, and that is exactly what is yielding dividend. The Chinese, the same, and also the Japanese also do. The Great Britons, they do the same as well. Why can't we spend? You remember even when we had the great Olympian talking about Funke Oshonaike, she was extending olive branches to corporate bodies to come and help her, to support her, to prepare. This is absurd.
No,
the Table Tennis Federation.
Don't let us talk about some of the challenges faced, because we also have it in good authorities that some of these athletes were washing their jerseys, their training kits. I mean,
this is what the sport minister would not want to hear.
It was an eyesore. It was an eyesore.
It's very disappointing.
We really hope that some of these things.
Lack of proper preparation for the Olympics, and we had adequate time. I mean, adequate time to prepare for the Olympics. Over 5 years, the tournament was supposed to, take center stage last year,
and
it's just very disappointing. Very disappointing. One silver and one bronze. Why other, the other African countries?
Oh my God!
Botswana. Personally, I think I felt very bad. I was happy for Botswana. I think they won the 4x400 meters. We were the first to reckon with.
And also,
back in the days.
We have to give kudos to some Africans. Kipchoge also in the last day won the relay, setting the record, winning that relay back to back. And you have to give him Kipchoge, one of the most successful African who has done well for Nigeria, for Africa. Now let's move away from Olympics, because we want to sit on the Olympics. We can talk about it for the whole show, and looking at Nigeria's performance, which left nothing to desire about. We hope that the sport ministry will begin to pay attention to some of these suggestions we've also made on this show. People should be called to camp from 2023. We know it's the election year and all of that, but I mean, let's also give attention to these young lads. That's their future. Now, away from Olympics, let's go straight to what's happening in the round of the game. Football. It was a very emotional moment for Barcelona legend, talking about Lionel Messi, as he bidded farewell to FC Barcelona. Messi could barely talk as he was overwhelmed by his emotions in the process of saying goodbye to the club. At some point, when I watched that, Kunle, I was very emotional seeing the outburst of emotion, love and affection. And Messi admitted that last season he wanted to leave the club, but for some reasons he decided to stay back. But this season he wanted to stay, and that was why, prior to the decision of La Liga, he had signed a 5-year contract that would have ended on his 39th birthday. Probably they would have given him an extension to hit 40, but that didn't see the light of day for some financial reasons. Kule, what does this mean for Barcelona? Yeah,
it means a lot to them, the fans. I'm sure that the management did not want him to go, but because of the financial crisis most of the clubs are facing at the moment, they had to let it go. The pay cut, the 50% pay cut, and despite all of that, they could still not meet up. I felt that probably if Messi, whichever way you look at it, is a Catalonian legend, is a Barcelona legend. I feel that if really actually wanted to stay, it would have even have the money reduced. But then it's at the twilight of his career, and it's important that all the money that comes to him, is able to grab them. I
don't understand. If you say reduce, the young man has reduced by 50%.
By 50%.
Yeah, so he should take 10% because he loves the club. He needs to, don't forget that he needs to pay bills. He's got kids who he needs to take care of. He's got a beautiful wife who he needs to take care of. It doesn't matter.
The club has been supporting. I'm not against his decision.
Okay.
I feel that I was just, a bit reserved about his outburst, the cries, and all of that.
You didn't buy it?
I didn't really buy it. I feel that if he had wanted to stay, he would probably have accepted, some of the offers that were in the offering.
All right.
For him.
On record, Kule. Going forward, account department, take note. Kule takes 50% home from henceforth to show the love he has for this program.
Let's do all of that. We don't make the kind of money that Messi.
So Messi spends money according to his level. Messi is big. I mean, his expenses is as big as his personality. So now, if let's say your salary is 500,000, right?
Okay.
And then you take 250,000 a week. Now it looks.
Let's not forget. Okay. I've made a lot of money in the time past. I've probably made over. From the 500,000, I will have probably made maybe like let me see, like maybe 10, 20 million is already.
Okay. So you wouldn't have worried.
If I am so passionate, I am so passionate bouncing,
yes,
I would probably have taken the offer. That's me for you. That is me. I would have probably. We've seen.
So from 500,000, are you saying?
We've seen some of the players play for free for some certain clubs. Let's not forget that. When David Beckham.
Kule, you're not being realistic.
No.
You're not being
I'm
realistic.
I'm not saying what he did was wrong.
Okay.
I am not disputing that fact. But we have different people with different perception, with different opinion to things and different decisions. That we're all different as humans. So that is a part that Lionel Messi has decided to play. I am not against his decision, but I feel that crying and all of that. It's unnecessary for me because it's actually gone in for the real deal, for the real money at Paris Saint-Germain. So really, it's important.
All right,
it's
so
normal for him
you just understand that this guy joined the club when he knew nothing. He came from Argentina as a 13-year-old.
As a 13-year-old boy, he was indisposed. He was having some ailment. He was treated health issues. He was treated by FC Barcelona.
Okay.
They brought his family down to Spain.
And
they were
settled
taking
in.
care of him.
The only football.
He was at the La Masia Academy.
So the only football team he has known all his life is FC Barcelona.
Yeah.
And even against all odds, with all the things that happened last season, the guy still stayed and played his heart out. Now he decided he wanted to stay to Barcelona, and now
the club last season, they were not ready to take the risk. So many clubs like Man City were hell bent on securing the services of Lionel Messi.
Okay.
But the club stood their ground, hoping that they will be able to convince Lionel Messi.
And they did, and he stayed. That's what I'm saying. He has already signed 5 years.
It's about the money.
It wasn't about the money. It wasn't about the.
It's about the money, Bronson. Why is he leaving if it's not about the money? He decided to stay, but they can't meet up with the financial.
Skule, I've asked you, can you work for free? You have your standards.
You can't work for free.
No, so what I'm saying, Skule, there's some salary that I cannot, no matter how much I love a company, there's some salary I cannot take with my love for the company, because I also look at my bills. That's what Messi have done. He has looked at his bill, what Barcelona could have.
I don't know the content of their discussion and all of that, but I feel that I know, because of the pandemic, the eruption and all of that, a lot of clubs suffered, financial challenges. And it's selling on almost all the clubs. I mean,
that's exactly what I'm talking about.
That will improve. The normalcy is beginning to return to football in general.
So you are saying during the process you would have played for free?
Yes. No, not playing for free, Bronson.
Let's take a very quick break. I don't know what Kule is saying. And when we come back, more stories to come. Don't go away. Welcome back. Now, PSG looks like a team to beat next season with Messi, Mbappe, and of course Neymar on the fray. Don't forget, Di Maria is still in that team. Wow. Maybe it's a season for Champions League, but only time will tell. But let's talk about Leicester City. Last weekend put up a very good performance. All thanks to senior man Kelechi Iheanacho, who came in, won a penalty to give Leicester City their first trophy of the season. I wasn't expecting such performance from Leicester City. I looked at the pedigree of Manchester City. When you put them, along with Leicester City, you will agree with me that Manchester City has an upper hand as far as the caliber players they have at their disposal is concerned. But that didn't come to full in the game. I think that Brendan Rodgers showed that their team, talking about Leicester City, needed the game the most. And, from the blast of the whistle, they attacked Manchester City without no ounce of respect for the team. But, I also look at it from the perspective that it looks like Pep Guardiola doesn't seem to get his rhythm when he plays in any of the finals. We've talked about this over and over again, and it seems to be making same mistakes. Now, Kule, just to let our viewers know that the defense of Man City, if you look at their backline, and their backline alone will buy the whole of Leicester City team. And Guardiola seems not to be satisfied with what he's gotten so far.
More players.
Now we hear that Harry Kane is a do, it's a must sign.
They need to get Harry Kane actually, but for the money is what I don't agree with. The money is way too much. £140 million is way too much for Harry Kane. But then since Aguero has left, they don't have any. You can't really mention any prolific striker.
They have a Gabriel Jesus.
Gabriel Jesus is not a Is he not
a striker?
He's a striker. But how many goals does he score
in the league? In the league,
season?
In England, apart from Harry Kane and maybe Danny Ings and who else? So who else is better than Gabriel Jesus?
some of these players we've mentioned are far better. Harry Kane, Jamie Vardy. Even for me,
Danny Ings,
even we talk about some of the strikers of Arsenal, talking about Lacazette and even Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang.
Lacazette is not better than Gabriel Jesus.
Well, Lacazette scores probably at times 13, 14 in a season, but Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is far above Gabriel Jesus. Jesus is not a proven striker from my own perspective. He has failed. He has always failed to prove that he's one of the most dangerous strikers in the world. So
but I tell you, Kule,
for them to get a proven striker, and that is why they are gunning for Harry Kane. But Brownson, let's not digress.
No, we are not digressing. I just want to let you understand some fact that Pep Guardiola, in my opinion, I mean, I'm entitled to it, is a waster. Now, I'll tell you why. Because the kind of money he has spent with City.
I like the way you always, when it comes to Pep Guardiola,
the kind of money he has spent, no coach in world football can spend that kind of money. It's only in Man City. Now, apart from that, apart from the league, what else has he achieved?
He has not really achieved.
So what are we saying? I mean, he has spent over £1 billion in a team
with no meaningful achievement. Anytime they play in the final, Aguero never wanted to leave. Yes,
he pushed him out for so.
I think this is what we are really getting to see. I think
it's unfair of football on other teams that don't have the resources.
There's this thing about Pep Guardiola playing in the final. I remember about 3 seasons ago, the FA Cup final between Manchester City and Arsenal. Manchester City defeated Arsenal home and away. Arsenal were comprehensively defeated. But when they met in the FA Cup final, Manchester City, with the arrays of stars, with all the players, and Aguero and all of them, lost to Arsenal in the final. We saw the same thing happening last season in the final of the UEFA Champions League. And prior to the Champions League final, we highlighted it, we predicted it. We knew that it looks like Pep Guardiola always get his tactics right.
And he played exactly how we predicted it to go.
I predicted it, and he lost again because Leicester City were the team that they deserved to win the game because they dictated the pace.
As a matter of fact, they should have won in the first half.
They should have won it in the first half. So all thanks to our man Kelechi Iheanacho getting winning the penalty.
No, I think she always asks senior man. So
the senior man, yeah.
All right, guys. Now for Harry Kane, you think Harry Kane is that missing puzzle in Manchester City team right now?
He's going to get in a lot of goals. When you have they are Kevin De Bruyne back in the team, I'm sure that it's going to create a lot of chances for Harry Kane. And when Harry Kane is one of the best strikers in the world, if given about 2-3 chances, he's going to convert. If he has 5 chances, you are sure that Harry Kane will convert 3. If the deal sees the light of the day, will be a great addition to Manchester City, and he's going to score in a lot of goals for the team.
Let's see how well that goes. Time will tell. Now let's move away to Italy. Even though the game was played in Spain, my guy Jose Mourinho was sent packing. He was sent off after 3 of his players were also red carded in a friendly game. Coach Jose Mourinho was sent off as his Roma side finished last Saturday's friendly away to Real Betis with only 8 men. Now the hosts went 3-2 up on 57th minute, but Roma's players argued that Alex Moreno had handled the ball. Of course, the referee reacted to a second yellow, which resulted to a red. Jose Mourinho, I think Mourinho should grow up, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like that. Mourinho should grow up. If I say that. I think that was a show of shame display on the part of Jose Mourinho. It was disappointing. You are supposed to caution your players. You are supposed to tell them to calm their nerves. The referee has the final decision to make. He has the final take as far as the game is concerned. And if you are not calm, if the referee gives you a red card, you are gonna. They actually faulted the decision of the referee to have actually allowed one of the goals when they were two goals apiece to stay. And the referee felt the goals had to stay. There was no VAR, and then the players felt there was an infringement. I think the player actually handled the ball before the ball went into the net, and then because of that, one of the players argued it was.
And it was a friendly game.
It was a friendly game.
It was a friendly game. So I thought it was unnecessary.
Nobody would have done anything if we had lost the game. It was a friendly game. I felt friendly games are meant to check players, to test them, and of course get them prepared ahead of the season.
But Mourinho doesn't understand friendly game, and they
were well beaten. 3 red cards. He also got the matching order. I think this is a bad one. It should be. I think the management of Roma should caution him, because if this happens in a big game, you are down by 3 goals to 2. You still have a good chance of equalizing. But when you are down by 3 players, your coach stands to the stands as well.
That's all.
You've lost it completely.
You have to go back to the drawing board. Let's see how well these guys can do. Kule, thank you very much for coming on the program today.
Yeah, it's always my pleasure to be here, Bronson.
Now, with that is a wrap on our show today. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Now, don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms currently displaying on your screen. Now, you can also go to YouTube and watch previous episodes. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Now, on behalf of our production crew, thank you so much for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.